What would you do if someone offered you $1 billion today? Not years from now, not someday, but right now. Would you take it? Or would you walk away from everything you've ever wanted? For something no one else can see yet? Because in life, your biggest opportunities don't always look like opportunities. Before the billion-dollar offer that would test the very soul of a young founder, before the headlines and the global phenomenon, before the world was remade in the image of a single radical idea, there was a door, unassuming, unmarked, just one of countless identical doors in a labyrinth of collegiate ambition. Behind it, the air was thick with the scent of stale coffee, instant noodles, and the electric hum of a machine that rarely slept. This wasn't the stage for a global revolution. It was just a room. Before the boardroom drama and the weight of a 9-figure decision, there was just a small room, a sanctuary of ordered chaos. Here, the currency wasn't capital. It was caffeine and processing power. The business plan wasn't a glossy deck for venture capitalists. It was a series of frantic sketches on a whiteboard, erased and redrawn 100 times. This was the incubator, the crucible, the messy, unglamorous space where an idea is fragile, vulnerable, and utterly pure. It was a place where the only validation came not from a market, but from the quiet, persistent whisper of a question. What if? And a simple idea. An idea so elemental it was almost overlooked. Not a complex algorithm, not a feat of hardware engineering, but a digital reflection of a fundamental human truth. Our innate, unyielding desire to connect, to know and be known, to find our tribe. In a world that was becoming increasingly disconnected despite our proximity, this idea proposed a new kind of architecture for our social lives. It wasn't about technology for technology's sake. It was about using the cold logic of code to rekindle the warmth of community. It was a simple, almost naive proposition. What if we could map our real-world relationships onto the digital world? It began, as so many revolutionary things do, not in a corporate high-rise, not in the gleaming towers of glass and steel where strategies are forged in quarterly reports and market analyses. It wasn't born from a committee, focus grouped, or reverse-engineered from a competitor's success. The established giants, with their vast resources and armies of engineers, were looking elsewhere. They were building bigger, faster, more complicated systems, but they had forgotten to look at the simple, human-sized problems right in front of them. They were building monuments, while a revolution was being quietly coded in a dorm, or a state-of-the-art laboratory, a place of controlled variables and predictable outcomes. Innovation in those sterile environments is methodical, incremental, and risk-averse. It follows the rules. But true disruption, the kind that reorders the world, is rarely so clean. It doesn't follow a hypothesis. It follows a hunch. It isn't born in a vacuum-sealed chamber. It's born from the friction of real life, from a personal frustration, from a need that the creator feels in their own bones. No, it began in the cluttered, chaotic confines of a Harvard dorm room. A place that was less a laboratory and more a living organism, a direct extension of the mind that inhabited it. Every object told a story. The empty pizza boxes, a testament to marathon coding sessions that blurred night into day. The dog-eared philosophy books, a clue to the deeper questions being asked. The tangled web of cables, a physical manifestation of the network being built on the screen. This chaos wasn't a sign of disorder, it was the sign of creation. It was the fertile soil from which something entirely new was about to grow. In that room, the universe shrank. There was only a keyboard, a screen, the raw, essential interface between thought and creation. The keyboard, a conduit for thousands of lines of code, each one a choice, a brick in a cathedral no one else could see. The screen, a glowing portal into a world that didn't exist yet, a canvas where the architecture of a new social fabric was being painted, pixel by pixel. The outside world, with its classes, its parties, its expectations, simply faded away, and a restless mind driven by a fundamental human question. This is the engine of all great leaps forward. Not the pursuit of fame or fortune, not at first, but an obsession, a gnawing curiosity that won't let go, a problem that demands to be solved. The restless mind doesn't keep office hours. It works when the world is asleep, fueled by an internal fire. It sees connections others miss and feels a profound, almost painful urgency to build the future it can so clearly envision. It asks not, can it be done? But how? And it will not rest until it finds an answer. This story is not unique. It is a universal pattern, repeated across history. Every big success, every industry disrupted, every paradigm shifted, every empire built, starts in a place of humility. A garage in Cupertino, a bookstore's website coded in a basement, a sketch in a notebook on a train. These are the unglamorous, unobserved spaces where the real work happens. There are no shareholders to please, no press releases to write, no audience to perform for. There is only the work itself, the slow, painstaking process of turning an intangible thought into a tangible reality. No one is watching. And this is the creator's greatest advantage. Anonymity is a shield. It provides the freedom to experiment, to fail, to be wrong, to pivot without consequence. When no one is watching, the pressure is internal, not external. The only critic that matters is the one in the mirror. This period of quiet, focused, unobserved work is not a bug. It is a feature. It is the necessary incubation period where the idea can grow strong enough to survive the harsh light of public scrutiny. Right now, at this very second, as you watch this, the cycle is repeating. The next tectonic shift is not being announced on the news. It's being assembled, piece by piece, in obscurity. Someone, somewhere, is pouring their life force into a project the world has not yet heard of. They are trading sleep for progress. They are sacrificing their social life for a chance to build something that matters. They are fueled by a belief so strong it borders on delusion. They are alone, but they are not lonely, because they are in the company of their creation, is building something small, something that, if you saw it today, you might dismiss. A clunky prototype, a website with only a few dozen users, a simple service that seems like a toy. But they are not building for today. They are building for tomorrow. They see the acorn, but they also see the towering oak tree it is destined to become. They understand the power of compounding, of network effects, of a simple idea executed with relentless, obsessive focus. That will one day change the world. Because this is how change happens. Not with a thunderclap, but with a whisper, with a single line of code, with one person, in one small room, who refuses to believe that the world as it is the world as it has to be. This is the story of such a beginning. The story of a decision that began, not with $1 billion, but with a single keystroke. Facebook wasn't just growing, it was spreading like a habit. Growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from momentum. Most people wait until everything is perfect, but winners start before they're ready. And then came the offer. It came from a titan of the old internet, Yahoo. They saw a fast-growing startup they could absorb, a way to buy back their relevance. The tension was palpable, and the number they put on the table was designed to be impossible to refuse. This is the moment where most people stop dreaming and start settling. Because when life gives you certainty, it becomes harder to chase uncertainty. Inside the company, the atmosphere had changed. The unified energy that had propelled them forward, that sense of a shared mission against the world, had begun to curdle. It started not with a bang, but with a number. A single seismic number that echoed through every conversation, every email, every quiet moment of reflection. $1 billion. The words hung in the air, thick with possibility. At first, they were spoken with a sense of awe, a shared disbelief. But soon, the tone shifted. We have to take it. This wasn't a suggestion. It was a desperate plea, a statement of what seemed like obvious, inarguable fact. Then came the judgment, the seeds of dissent. He's crazy if he says no. Suddenly, the founder wasn't the visionary leader anymore. He was a potential obstacle, Everything was divided. The company had fractured into two distinct opposing camps, each convinced of its own righteousness. A civil war had begun. The pressure from investors and executives was immense, a relentless, crushing force. For them, this was the endgame. This was the entire purpose of the risk they had taken, the capital they had deployed. They presented their case with cold, hard logic. They brought charts showing market volatility, analyses of competitor threats, and historical data on companies that had peaked and then vanished. They argued that lightning doesn't strike twice. A billion-dollar valuation was not just a win, it was a miracle, an escape from the brutal uncertainty of the market. To them, turning it down wasn't just a bad business decision. It was an act of profound irresponsibility, a betrayal of their fiduciary duty. They saw a guaranteed victory and couldn't comprehend why anyone would choose to keep fighting. This pressure cascaded down to the employees, the very people who had built the company from the ground up. They had poured their lives into this venture, working late nights, sacrificing weekends, fueled by caffeine and belief. Now that belief was being tested. They held stock option paperwork that had, overnight, transformed from hopeful lottery tickets into life-altering fortunes. They started doing the math, calculating what $1 billion meant for them personally. It meant paying off student loans, buying a house for their parents, securing their children's futures. It was the finish line to a marathon they had been running for years. As they looked at photos of their families, the abstract mission of the company began to fade against the concrete reality of life-changing wealth. They began to doubt their leader's judgment. Was his vision worth more than their security? Was his dream more important than theirs? And then there were the others, the true believers, the ones who had joined not for the money, but for the mission. They had bought into the founder's vision of changing the world, of building something that would last for generations. For them, the billion-dollar offer felt like a betrayal of a different kind. It was a temptation, a golden apple designed to distract them from their true purpose. They saw it as an attempt to buy their revolution and neuter it, to absorb their creation into a corporate machine where it would lose its soul. And so, fear spread through both camps, a dual-sided panic. On one side, the fear of losing the money, of watching a golden opportunity slip through their fingers. And on the other, the fear of losing the mission, of selling out before the real work was even done. No one teaches you this in business school. They teach you about discounted cash flow, risk-adjusted returns, and shareholder value. They train you to identify and seize a good exit. The curriculum is built around a single fundamental assumption. The goal is to maximize financial return. Every case study, every lecture, reinforces the idea that an offer like this is the finish line, the moment you cash in your chips and declare victory. The system is designed to produce managers who would take the deal without a second thought. But no one teaches you how to handle the pressure when your definition of victory is different from everyone else's. No one prepares you for the moment when the right decision feels fundamentally wrong. The founders sat at the center of this storm, a solitary figure at a long table. On one side, a symbolic pile of cash, representing security, validation, and the expectations of the world. On the other, a rough, imperfect prototype representing a future that only he could see, a promise yet to be fulfilled. He was being pulled apart by the two most powerful forces in human endeavor: the gravitational pull of safety and the explosive force of potential. The pressure was not just external, it was a war within himself. His logical mind, trained by the same principles as his investors, screamed at him to take the deal. It was the safe choice, the smart choice. But his intuition, the very instinct that had led him this far, urged him to hold on, to protect the fragile future he was building. Everyone expects you to choose safety. Society is structured to reward it. But true, world-changing progress is never born from safety. It is born from the courage to turn away from the harbor and sail toward a horizon that others cannot see. The higher you go in any pursuit, the thinner the air gets. The path narrows and the crowd thins out. The voices of encouragement are replaced by the winds of doubt. At the base of the mountain, everyone is a cheerleader. But as you ascend past the established routes, past the point of conventional wisdom, you find yourself increasingly alone. From that height, the base camp, with its warmth, its safety, its chorus of consensus, seems impossibly far away. The people you started with can no longer see your perspective. They see the storm clouds gathering around you, they feel the drop in temperature, and they urge you to come back down to safety. They can't see the summit that you see. And so, the lonelier your decisions become. They are yours and yours alone, weighed not against a spreadsheet, but against the strength of your own conviction. This is the ultimate test of leadership. Not the ability to climb, but the ability to stand alone on the ridge and choose the higher, harder path. And then, he said no. Sometimes the most powerful word in your life is not yes, it's no. Because every no protects your future. He didn't just reject money, he rejected security. He cut the safety net, not just for himself, but for his entire company. From now on, the only way was forward. Succeed or fail spectacularly. We have a profound misunderstanding of failure. We see the artist with a studio full of unsold canvases, the athlete who comes in last, the inventor whose prototype fails to ignite, and we often attribute it to a simple, convenient explanation: a lack of talent. But this is a comforting illusion. Talent is abundant. It is the raw, unrefined ore buried within millions of people. It is the seed of potential that exists in nearly every mind, waiting for the right conditions to germinate. Most people don't fail because they lack this fundamental ingredient. The world is overflowing with brilliant musicians who never play for an audience, gifted writers whose manuscripts gather dust in a drawer, and visionary thinkers who never share their ideas. Their potential remains locked away, a treasure buried by their own hand. They fail for a much more tragic reason. They fail because they consciously, deliberately, choose to avoid risk. They stand at a crossroads, a decision point where one path leads to comfort and certainty, and the other to the volatile, unpredictable wilderness of the unknown. And almost every time, they choose the path of least resistance. They choose the gray room. This room isn't a dungeon. It's a comfortable prison of their own making. It's the steady job they don't love, the relationship that no longer inspires them, the life built on a foundation of what if. It is a slow, quiet erosion of the soul, a failure not of a single spectacular collapse, but of a million tiny concessions to fear. The true tragedy isn't that they aimed high and missed. It's that they never aimed at all. You cannot build something extraordinary while playing safe. Consider the creation of a great ship. It is an act of defiance against nature, a monumental undertaking of ambition and engineering. Thousands of hours, millions of dollars, and the collective genius of countless minds are poured into its construction. Every rivet is a promise, every steel plate a testament to a singular, audacious goal: to conquer the vast, unforgiving ocean. But what is the purpose of this magnificent vessel if it never leaves the harbor? In the calm, protected waters, it is perfectly safe. It will never face a storm, never be battered by waves, never risk being lost to the depths. But it will also never fulfill its destiny. It will never discover new lands, never carry precious cargo to distant shores, never become the legend it was designed to be. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what ships are for. Your life, your company, your vision, they are that ship. The harbor is your comfort zone, and greatness is never ever found in the harbor. For him, the man who would soon face a decision that could secure his financial future for generations, this was not a theoretical exercise. The billion-dollar offer from Yahoo was the ultimate safe harbor. It was a guaranteed victory, a validation of all his work, a golden ticket to a life of ease. But for him, this was never about money. Money was merely a resource, a form of energy required to fuel the real engine, and that engine was a vision so vast, so audacious, that the concept of $1 billion seemed almost trivial in comparison. It was about building a new kind of infrastructure for humanity. He was an architect at heart, but he wasn't working with stone or steel. He wasn't designing bridges to cross rivers or cathedrals to touch the sky. His materials were code and human relationships. His blueprints were algorithms. His cathedral was a digital commons, a space built not from mortar, but from the invisible, powerful threads of human connection. He saw a future where the world was more open and connected, where geography was no longer a barrier to friendship, collaboration, and understanding. He was building a utility for the human heart. This is the critical distinction. This is the fulcrum upon which world-changing decisions pivot. It is the difference between a goal and a vision. A goal is finite. A goal is make $1 billion. Once you achieve it, the game is over. A vision is infinite. A vision is connect the entire world. It is a horizon that you can sail towards forever, a purpose so profound that it organizes every smaller decision around it. If your vision is small, if your primary aim is simply financial security or personal gain, money will always control you. It becomes the master, and you the servant. Your decisions will be dictated by fear, the fear of losing it, the fear of not having enough. You will be tempted by the safe harbor of a lucrative offer, even if it means scuttling the great ship you were meant to build. Your ambition will be capped by the number on a check. You will trade the infinite game of purpose for the finite game of profit, and in the end, you will be owned by the very thing you sought to acquire. But if your vision is big enough, if it is a force that pulls you forward, if it is a cathedral you are compelled to build for the betterment of others, then the dynamic is inverted. The vision becomes the master, and money becomes the servant. It is a tool, a resource, a means to an end, but never the end itself. When your why is powerful enough, you find the how. Resources are drawn to the gravity of a powerful vision. Capital, talent, and opportunity flow towards those who are not merely seeking to enrich themselves, but are striving to build something of lasting value. You are no longer chasing money. You are building a reality so compelling that money chases you, seeking to be part of what you are creating. You don't just manage your present, you control the future. And then, everything changed. Facebook unleashed the newsfeed. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Users hated it, but he held his ground, trusting the data over the outrage. It was the first major return on his billion-dollar bet, a game-changing innovation only possible because he had fought for the freedom to make it. Your life can change in one decision, one idea, one moment. Facebook didn't just grow, it took over the world. By 2012, the company had 1 billion users. The number Yahoo offered as a price had become just a fraction of its reach. Success is not sudden, it is built silently, and then revealed loudly. That one decision turned $1 billion into something far greater. Short-term rewards often cost long-term greatness. This was never about money, it was about belief. Belief is the most powerful asset you will ever have. The question is not what Mark Zuckerberg did. The question is, what decision are you avoiding? Intimate, direct. The life you want is on the other side of the decision you're afraid to make. And maybe the most important decision is the one you're about to make. If you want to understand how billionaires think and the decisions that built their empires, subscribe to Alpha Decisions, because one decision can change everything.